I welcome for the first session of day 3 of FTP on cybersecurity. Today's talk by Mr. Pradeep G. He is presently working as a senior system engineer at Cisco Systems Bangalore and managing partner SLVIS Networking Bengaluru. And he is also an independent consultant and corporate trainer. He has more than 12 years of experience, and he has served at various organizations at various capacities. To name a few, he worked with HP as a technical specialist, and he involved in data center risk analysis, consultation, and content development at various IT organizations. And he involved in network implementation projects for many government and private organizations, and he conducted training and workshops in various universities and IT organizations across Asia, Pacific, and Middle East region. Sorry. And he mentored college students, fresh graduates, and working professionals with 3 to 5 years experience. He conducted technical interviews for many clients, and he trained more than 5,000 students so far. He is a very good speaker. Personally, I love to listen to his talk. Thank you very much for he's given consent to give a talk in our FTP. Welcome you, sir, and over to you, sir. Pradeep, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, you can present your slides.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Thank you very much. Thanks for your introduction. Very good morning. Let me start sharing my screen. Do you all see my screen?
Very good morning.
Do you all see my screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
How about now?
Now it's coming.
Okay. Just let me know once you're all able to see my screen.
You are visible, sir. Not your screen.
Okay.
You are visible, not your screen, sir.
Okay, let me stop sharing my screen and then let me reshare it once again.
Yeah.
How about now?
It's coming, but no. Not visible your screen. Something is coming.
So you just have to click on your presentation. We can see your screen but cannot see your presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's okay.
Okay. I think it was getting shared, but
yeah.
Fine. Fine. Today's topic that I'm going to discuss will be threats and vulnerabilities in remote access. So this pandemic, COVID-19, has taught us many lessons, and then it has prepared us to face many challenges that we had never faced before, isn't it? So who would have imagined last year this time, probably by November or December, that most of us will be working from home for such a long time. So I've been working with Cisco from past almost like 3 years now. We used to work 1 day in a week or maximum 2 days in a week. We used to work from home. So if you take an example of an entire global employee strength of a Cisco, at any given point of time, not more than 30,000 employees were working from home. So it was always less than 30,000 of employees were working from home. Okay. And suddenly now, because of this COVID-19 lockdown, and then everyone were asked to work from home compulsorily. Okay, suddenly there is a surge in network traffic. Mostly it is remote access, what we call. Correct. And most of the organizations and network, okay, they were not prepared for this, and there are a lot of threats and a lot of vulnerabilities, isn't it? So let us understand what is a remote access, and then uh, what are the vulnerabilities that we might face, and how we can tackle with these challenges. All right, you all understand what is a remote access, right? So you're sitting in one place and you are able to access the resources from a other place, or resources located in another place. Okay, that's what we call it as a remote access, isn't it? So to take a very simple example, so we will have these networking equipments like routers, switches, firewalls. They all will be kept in a data center, or maybe some separate room in your own building. Probably, let us assume that you're working in like a 10-floor building, and in one particular floor, all the network infrastructure is kept. And you may be sitting in a different floor, and then you are accessing those devices and you are configuring them. Or maybe your devices are there in your head office and you are sitting in a branch office and you are configuring them. So that's what we are calling it as a remote access. Okay. And when we do work from home, what we normally do is, so we sit in a different location and we access your organization's resources. Be it some applications hosted in a server which is there in your office. Correct. So different definition, you can read it on the screen. Okay. So accessing, sitting in a public place, probably in your home, probably let us say you're traveling. See, I used to travel a lot earlier when I was conducting the corporate training programs. So in a month, probably out of 30 days, so 25 days, I used to be out of my home. Okay, that's when. So let's say 3 days I was in Mumbai, 5 days I was in Delhi, sometime I was in Shanghai or something like that. So sitting in those cities in my hotel room, I used to access certain resources. So sitting remotely, that means your location is not stationary. So you're accessing the same resource of your organization, but you're not sitting in a same location every time. Okay, and most of us were doing it on some moderate basis, but suddenly because of this COVID-19, all of us mostly we what IT industry, okay, we are all working from home. So since there is a sudden surge in a network traffic, it also opens up gates for the threats. Okay, so some hacker, okay, they can exploit this situation, and then they might get an access to your office resources or organization's resources. Okay, so why this remote access is first of all required? So it makes our job easy, right? Let us say you have your networking equipment somewhere in your head office. Every time you want to configure, you have to go sit next to that device, connect a console cable, and then do some configuration and come back. If it's the same building, probably you use a lift from third floor to fifth floor, or third floor to 10th floor. You go and then you do the configuration, and then you come back and sit your place. But let us assume all your devices are in your head office and you are sitting in a branch office. To type few commands, you cannot just travel to other city and then type one or two commands and come back, right? Isn't it? So it is not cost effective. It is not feasible, first of all. So mostly we Indians here in the IT industry, especially in the service sector, what we do is we have a clients across the globe. So we maintain their network infrastructure. We maintain their complete IT infrastructure sitting remotely because widespread availability of our internet access and mobile computing devices. Most of the IT organizations are not dependent on your desktop computers now. They give you a laptop and then you go home and then you start working from there. Okay. And many applications are designed in such a way that you can access those applications sitting remotely. And then we host most of the applications in the cloud. Okay, when we host them in the cloud, even if you're sitting inside your office, you're still accessing an application which is hosted in a cloud. Okay. So when we have too much of access happening, remote access happening, okay, it also opens up many opportunities for hackers so that they can steal some valuable information. So valuable information could be there could be anything. It need not be a money, right? So nowadays we make a lot of online payments, isn't it? We don't want to touch the currency notes. So what we do, we go and then we, whatever we purchase, we just make a online payment to some UPI transactions. You just open your mobile and then you log into some applications like Google Pay or a Phone Pay or Paytm, whatever it is, and then you make transactions. Okay, financial transactions. It's not just the financial transactions that are more important, it is the data. How many of you are aware that recently there was an attack on one of the biotech lab in Hyderabad? Okay, they were preparing this vaccine for this COVID-19, and some hackers tried to steal the information. Okay, so some company might be investing a lot of resources, money, okay, time, everything into developing a vaccination for this COVID. And what if some hacker steals that information? That information, the data is more valuable here. Okay, that is worth more than the money. In fact, what if they try to destroy whatever they have done? Okay, so large organizations were prepared for this kind of a situation for some extent. May not be 100%. For some extent, they were prepared. See, one of my cousin works for a small IT organization in Bangalore, and he just joined the company. In about a week or 2 weeks, there was a lockdown in India. So he didn't even receive a laptop from his company, and then he was asked to use his personal device. Since the company was very small, and then they were not so much worried about it. And then he was using his own device. There is a concept called as BYOD, bring your own device. There are many organizations that practice this. You have a laptop, then you can join the company. Small organizations. So they make sure that you use your own device for office work. Okay. See, that's when they cannot put a lot of restriction. So you might have installed your own software for your personal use. Okay, you might have installed some games. You might have installed different versions of a antivirus or an internet security software compared to what organization is required. Okay, so my cousin used almost for more than 6 months. He was using his personal laptop for office work. Okay, so many devices may not be managed by your enterprise. Okay, so there is no enterprise firewall or antivirus which is protecting it. So lack of physical security control. Okay, in our Cisco, what happens when Cisco gives a laptop? Not just it is managed by Cisco by it is enterprise firewall or antivirus. We have multi-level authentication to log into certain applications. So when I just log into a certain application, we give our username and then password, and after that there is an OTP kind of a thing which is generated. It's not exactly an OTP. It doesn't come in the form of SMS to my mobile phone. There is an separate app installed in my mobile phone. I just get a notification that that particular application I am trying to access, and I need to click on approve. So when I click on approve, that's when that application opens in a laptop. See, imagining somebody sitting in my office, if they know my username and a password, still they cannot log into certain applications. There will be like a multi-step verification. Even if a hacker steals my username and then password, when he tries to hack or he tries to log into some applications in my name, I get a notification in my mobile phone. So if I press allow, then only it will allow a hacker to log in. If I say deny, it will deny. Okay, so we have these kind of large organizations. They have these kind of multi-level protections, but small organizations they don't have. Okay, my cousin, whatever company he was working for, it is actually, in fact, they were into data analytics. So when they do data analytics, they might be dealing with a lot of sensitive data. What if somebody tries to steal that information? Okay, so remote access client devices may be used in a hostile environment, but not configured for them. Hostile environment in the sense you are sitting in a hotel. Okay, maybe you're traveling, you're in an airport, you're using a public Wi-Fi, you're in a railway stations nowadays. Even Indian railway stations, there are many places where public Wi-Fi is available, right? What if you try to log in from those kind of a public Wi-Fi? It's a hostile environment, and then your device is not configured for them, and then you are on a public network, and then some hacker might have deployed some rogue access point where you just get connected, and then you get an internet access, and then they get what you are browsing. All the data they can see through. Okay. So I would like to demonstrate this with a small lab topology. Okay. So what I'll do is I will make use of a graphic network simulator, and then I take some three devices, and then I will show when you do the remote access and when a hacker captures your packet, how does it look like? Okay, I'm going to open those packets and then I'm going to show it to you. So this R1, whatever you see, is actually number one. It's a router number one, but I am going to treat it like a computer. This R1, okay, I'm going to treat it like a computer. So just for our understanding, I'm just going to change its icon. It is not R1 anymore, it is PC. It's a computer. Okay. I'll just this lab topology. Uh, for remote access, do you all know which protocols that we use normally? You might have heard about remote access protocols, right? Can you name some protocol? Anyone? Heard about Telnet, SSH, terminal emulator, Telnet. This is a remote access protocol, right? But most of the organizations will not permit Telnet access. You know why? Because Telnet does not encrypt your data. Telnet does not encrypt your data. So what I'll do is, so for this PC, I'll keep this black colored screen. Okay, so this is a computer. You can see here, it's a PC, first device. For router number one and then router number two, I have changed the background color to white. Okay, so that it looks easy and then you can understand what I'm doing exactly. Right, just give me 5 minutes. I will configure this topology with certain commands. Then I'm going to capture a packet and I'm going to show it what is inside. And when a hacker captures it with certain tools like Wireshark, how they will extract the data. Okay, we'll see that. I'll explain what exactly I have configured. Okay. Right, look at this topology. So this is a PC where I am sitting and I'm trying to do remote access, and this is my default gateway. R2 is my default gateway. I'm just assuming that this default gateway or my router, it is in Bangalore. I'm sitting in a Bangalore, and let us assume this other end device is in London. So let us rename them so that you can understand. Just renamed the host as Bangalore. Okay. So for other device, London. If I want to do remote access, see, as of now, I have configured IP addresses on all these devices. Okay, just an IP address has been configured, and then just for a routing purpose, some static routing is given between these two devices. So sitting here, I am able to reach this particular device whose IP address is 20.0.0.2. You can see here, I just pinged 20.0.0.2 and I am able to ping. Okay. See, if I want to do remote access, there needs to be a certain usernames and passwords set at the destination device. So as of now, I have not given any usernames and then passwords. So what happens if I try to do remote access, telnet 20.0.0.2, it will not happen. Password required, but none set. Okay, so connection closed by foreign host. So what I will do, I will create a username. Okay, I'll just give it as my, I'll just give my name. Password. Username is Pradeep. Password is Pradeep123. So just a plain text passwords that I've given so that you know what is my username and what is my password. Okay, so once I capture the packets, you will be able to see my username and then password. Okay, now after creating a username and a password, there is something called line virtual terminal, line VTY, where we give login local. Okay, so after doing this, this next level of a password, there is something called an enable password, which I'll give it as India. Okay. So my actual username is Pradeep, password is Pradeep123, enable password is India. Okay, now let me capture the packets. So what I'll do, I'll right click on this, I'll start capture. So in this tool, GNS3, whatever that I'm using, we can capture the packets with the help of Wireshark. This is a Wireshark. You all must be knowing it. Most of you might have used this tool. Okay, Wireshark. It's a network protocol analyzer. Okay, packet sniffer it is simply called as. So you can sniff the packets. So I'll go to the original PC now. So what I'll do is I will telnet 20.0.0.2. See there, I press enter. It is asking me user access verification. It is asking for a username. What was the username? Pradeep. That is the username, right? So I press enter, it will ask password. I type my password Pradeep123. See, in Cisco devices, what happens whenever you type a password, it will not show any stars over there. Normally, in other cases, so when you type any password, it will show the star, right? So it will not show any stars. See, you can see here, I got a command prompt of London. So London is this particular device, right? R3. I'm sitting here in a PC. Okay, I'm sitting here in PC. See, all this time it was a PC. I just used telnet. Okay, I gave my username and a password. I got a command prompt of a London. Let us go to Wireshark and then analyze the packets. Okay, you can see here TCP, three-way handshake. You can see it on the screen. Okay, source 10.0.0.2, destination 20.0.0.2, TCP, sync, SYN. See there, sync packet is being sent. From other end, sync acknowledgement comes back. Then you're sending acknowledgement. Sync, acknowledgement, and then acknowledgement. These are the three packets where TCP three-way handshake is happening. Okay, and after that, whatever you see, telnet. Okay, so what is the port number for telnet? Port number is 23, right? Correct. So look at this. I am clicking on this particular packet here. You can see this window here. Frame 9, 56 bytes on a wire, 448 bytes, okay, 448 bits. Whatever you see this information, this is actually your physical layer. This is a OSI reference model, whatever we study. Okay, there are 7 layers, right? Not every packet is having 7 layers. This particular packet is having only 4 layers. Okay, so this is a physical layer. Cisco HDLC, whatever you see, this is a data link layer. Next comes network layer, where we have IP addresses. Look at this, Internet Protocol version 4. Source is 20.0.0.2. Destination is 10.0.0.2. Isn't IP address a part of network layer? Correct. See, this is the network layer. When I open that network layer, see, this is the information that we can see. Time to live, TTL. Okay. All these things are a part of your TCP header. No, not TCP header, IP header. Okay. So look at this header, checksum, source address, destination address, all these things. Now, transmission control protocol, TCP. TCP is a part of your layer 4, right? Isn't it? Transport layer. Source port number 23, destination port number 54,334. Look at this. It's a layer 4. Then inside that we have telnet. See, I open this telnet data. Initially, few packets will be like control packets where you don't see any password or anything. See, whatever /r or a /n that you see is like a, when you press enter, you go to next line, right? So that's what you're seeing here. Look at this user access verification /r and then /n. Was it asking for a user access verification? Yes. This is my PC. It was asking for a user access verification, right? Then it was asking for a user name, correct? Look at this. User access verification and user name that it is asking. What did I type? I typed Pradeep, isn't it? Look at this. I'm just clicking on next packets. See, username, you will end up seeing every character twice. Pradeep. What you see is P, you see two times. PP, RR, AADD, EE, and then PP. Every character you see twice. I'll tell you the reason for that. So look at this data, P. I'll click on the next packet, you'll see P again. Correct? I'll click on next packet here, R, A. Are you all able to see? D, E, E, and last character is P. Okay, look at this. That was my username. As soon as I typed my username and pressed enter, it asked for a password, correct? Look at this. /n means I pressed enter. It asked for a password. What was my password? Pradeep123, isn't it? But this password, it will not show twice. It will only show once. So you can see here, P, R, A, D, E, P. 1, 2, 3. Correct? Look at this. Data 1. Then you have 2. Then you have 3. Pradeep123. After I typed Pradeep123, I pressed enter /r and then /n. Then you got command prompt of a London. Isn't it? That's what we got it here. After typing a username and then password, okay, command prompt and then London. Why we were getting every character twice? Because I'm sitting here. When I do the telnet, my actual telnet packets goes in this direction, reaches this device and comes back. Correct. So I am capturing a packets here. So when I type letter P, my username Pradeep, okay, P goes from R2 to R3, and R3 it comes back to here PC. That's when it appears here because I'm doing a remote access, right? So this comes here. Okay. Or when I type, it goes to destination device, and then destination device's screen, I'm actually seeing it here. Okay, so it's like to and fro. But for a password, what happens? Password, it will not show. It will not show any star also, right? So that's why it is going only in a one direction. It is not coming back and appearing on my screen again. So that's why you don't see password once again. So it is very simple. When you do a telnet, somebody on the way can capture your packets, and then if they can open, everything is visible in a plain text. Things are visible in a plain text. They can extract all your usernames, passwords, everything. Anything which is not encrypted, hackers can just steal. So you're sitting in some public place. Okay, I was talking about a hostile environment, right? It could be airport. When you are in the airport, see, nowadays we don't actually use it. Most of us have 4G mobile phones, and then with the introduction of Reliance Geo, even all the competitors are giving like 1 GB of data per day minimum, isn't it? So we have like 2 GB or 3 GB every day. Earlier days, we used to get 1 GB per month. Those were the days. Most of the times, we used to switch off our data, and whenever there was a free internet access available, we used to immediately turn on Wi-Fi, and then we used to start browsing internet. When I used to travel a lot for these corporate training programs, in every airport, I used to consume a lot of data. I used to consume a lot of data, and I was aware of it. Okay, it could be a threat. So I never used to do any financial transactions or anything which is which should not be done on a public network. I was aware of those things at least. Okay, but I used to consume. So even railway stations, or whenever we visit any IT companies, there will be like a guest network wherein you can log in, and then you can browse internet. Okay, we used to do that. So now, since we have a lot of mobile data available, we may not use it, but there may be a situation where you have to use it. So once I was in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, I was on the way to Shanghai. So in Kuala Lumpur, if I just turn on a data, it's like international. Okay, it's ISD, right? Okay, so you're sitting in another country, and then you turn on a data, you're gonna end up paying a lot of money for that. So instead of paying that, why don't you use airport free internet? I used it. Okay, in the Kuala Lumpur airport, internet was unlimited. In fact, in Bangalore, it is like 45 minutes. It's only available. How much you want to consume, you can consume for 45 minutes. But in Kuala Lumpur, there was no such restriction. But when I reached Shanghai, and then when I want to access internet, so whatever login page which appears, that was in Chinese. That was in a Chinese language, Mandarin. Okay, so I could not read, and then I could not understand what they were asking. In fact, so I could not fill in that form and then submit and then get an internet access. So in Shanghai airport, I ended up using my own data pack of Airtel for consuming about 2.3 MB. I ended up paying nearly 2,300 rupees just for 2.3 MB. I just opened WhatsApp. Okay, those days WhatsApp was not banned in China. Now it is banned, in fact. Okay, so in Shanghai airport, I just opened a WhatsApp, and then I sent a couple of messages that I reached safely here, and I'm on my way to my destination, which is some 300 kilometers from Shanghai. So I ended up spending 2.3 MB of data, and then it costed me 2,300 rupees. So those kind of places, forcefully you will use public internet. So when you use public internet, there are chances that some other applications that you are using, so somebody is stealing all your information. Okay, so telnet is one such protocol. Telnet is one such protocol for a remote access. But what happens? It does not encrypt the data. This is the main reason lot of organizations, what they do is they do not permit telnet. They do not permit telnet. See here, I'll show you how. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay. Uh, so I'll just show you how to permit only SSH and then deny telnet. Transport input, okay, transport input. If I give SSH, it will only permit SSH. It will not permit telnet. Just one command under line VTY 0 space 4, and I go back to my PC now. I go back to my PC. Okay, just give me a sec. Now I do the telnet. See what happens. Connection refused by remote host. Because telnet is not permitted anymore. I have to do SSH only. Secure shell. So secure shell or SSH encrypts your data. So let us configure SSH. Let us configure SSH. Okay, generate RSA. So it will ask me to select the length of a key. It's between 360 to 2048 bits. Okay, so I'll just select 2048. If generating 2048 bit RSA keys will be non-exportable. Right. So by default SSH 1.99 gets enabled. So we can change the version also. SSH version 2. See, after doing this, I do the, see, even now my Wireshark is still on. It is capturing all the packets. It is capturing all the packets. So I go back to this PC and then I do the SSH. SSH -L username and destination IP address. So destination IP address is 10.0.0.2. Connection is still refused by remote host. SSH version 2. Okay, it is not 10.0.0.2. It's my miss. Okay, it is 20.0.0.2. We are trying to reach the destination 10.0.0.2. Okay, so that's my miss. Okay, so it should not refuse. In fact, we have configured everything. So SSH -L Pradeep, okay, space 20.0.0.2. See there, it is directly asking for a password. What is my password? Pradeep123, right? PRADEEP123. See, I gave my password and you can see the command prompt of a London and then greater than symbol. Now again I type enable here. Okay, enable is another command to get into a different mode. Enable password is India, INDIA. I press enter, I got the command prompt of a London. Okay, so my Wireshark is still capturing the packets, right? So just let me scroll down and then check for SSH packets. See there, SSH version 2. Do you read this? SSH version 2, client key initiation. Okay, so look at this Diffie-Hellman key exchange. So DH algorithm, most of you might have heard about DH algorithm, right? Okay, so here also frame 294, 60 bytes on the wire. It's a physical layer. Cisco HDLC is a data link layer. Internet protocol version 4 is this particular thing is a network layer, and then we have a transport layer. In a transport layer, so what is the port number that SSH uses? 22. SSH protocol. You just open these things, you can see it's encrypted. Encryption AES 128, MAC, HMAC, SHA-1, SHA. So these are all not just encryption, but there will be some hashing algorithms. Okay, there will be some hashing algorithms. You can go ahead and then click on any of these SSH packets. You'll end up seeing this kind of a content. DH server F. This is a encrypted content. You can't read it. You cannot read all these things. Okay, look at this. Look at this. This is actually client encrypted packet. So what do you see? SSH version 2 encryption AES 128, packet length is this much, encrypted packet. Okay, so it's all in encrypted form. When it is encrypted, when the things are encrypted, you cannot just copy these things and then decrypt it. There are certain level of passwords that you can decrypt, but not everything. Not everything. Okay, you understand the difference between encryption and then hashing, right? Encryption is a two-way process. So you encrypt, you can decrypt. It's a opposite. Okay, but hashing is something you hash, you can never unhash. There is no reverse process. Okay, so once you hash, that's it. It is in some different form, which is like non-readable format. Okay, which you can only use it for comparison purpose. Comparison purpose. Okay, so I'll explain in a whiteboard and then marker how these two things are different. And then whenever we do remote access, so we normally use something called as a VPN, right? Virtual private network. Okay, so how this virtual private network works, okay, and what are the things that takes place in a back end. I'm going to explain it with the help of whiteboard and then marker. You can read all these things. You can just go through. I'm just clicking on next packet here. All the things are like encrypted. Things are encrypted here. Unlike your telnet, you cannot read this content. Correct. Even after I got that command prompt London and then greater than symbol, okay, I don't see that also here. So whatever encrypted content in that, you can, these are the contents, password, enable en, whatever password that I type afterwards, and these things, it is not visible when hacker is capturing your data. Okay, so far if you have any questions or anything, you can ask me. So meanwhile, I will explain. So when you say VPN, virtual private network, so we use this concept called as a VPN for remote access, isn't it? So it's a security topic. So I'm not sure how many of you from a security background. So what is the difference between a VPN and then firewall? What is a firewall and in which situation we use firewall, and what is a VPN?
So firewall is used to
What is a firewall?
use for how
Both are used for
how
security
to
purpose, right?
stop for unauthorized access.
I'm sorry, which one?
Firewall is used how to stop the unauthorized access in the network.
Unauthorized access. Okay.
Yes, sir.
How about VPN? With VPN also, are you stopping some unauthorized access?
So VPN is
So
providing
firewall is protection for one network from another network.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but VPN create the encrypted the things and key. The same key when they used in partner device across the internet. So that is VPN.
That is VPN.
VPN is
Okay.
basically the end-to-end encryption.
End-to-end.
End-to-end. Yes, sir.
Okay. See, let me put it in a very simple terms. Okay. So this is a very generic example that I normally use. Those who have already attended my sessions, they are aware of it. Madam clearly knows. Madam Channamma has attended my session in the previous occasions, and then she knows this example. Okay. So I'll just give a generic example, very generic example before we go any technical. Let us assume this is your home. You are a very rich person. Okay. So this is your home, and this is your master bedroom. In your master bedroom, you have some secret locker, and you have kept all your wealth here. It's all black money. Okay. Since you're such a rich person and you earned all your wealth in a illegal way, obviously you must have some kind of a protection. This is a 10 feet compound around your building. Okay. And according to Vastu, you have like north gate and then east gate entrance. So what you do, if you are such a rich person, don't you hire a security guards? And where do the security guards sit? Inside your bedroom? Definitely not, right? You make them sit at the entrance. Here. This gate, you hire one security guard and keep him here. Another security guard is sitting here. One more security guard is sitting here. So anybody trying to enter the premises, security guard will first stop. Who are you? Where are you coming from? Where do you want to go? Do you have authorization? So he will check the authorization for anybody entering inside. Similarly, let us say you have a maid. Okay, they finish their work and then they want to go back to home, and when they go home, again security guard checks to make sure they're not stealing any valuable things from your home. So anybody coming inside your building or anyone going outside your building, security guard will inspect. Okay, to protect your wealth or a valuable thing. Now you are such an influential person, and next week there will be an income tax raid on your home, and because you are such an influential person and you have a lot of contacts, somehow it gets leaked and then you get the information coming Monday there will be an income tax raid on your home. So what you do, you still keep your all your wealth here? Definitely you want to move it out, isn't it? Definitely you want to move out all this wealth. When income tax officials visit your home, they don't find anything valuable. That's what you wanted, right? So what you do is, so immediately you call your friend, okay, and you tell him that I have a news that there will be an income tax raid on my home, and I would like to hide all my wealth. Can I keep everything in your farmhouse for few days, and once everything is settled down, I'll take back my wealth? And your friend happily agrees. Okay. So your friend happily agrees. From your home, your friend's farmland is around 100 kilometers. This is his farmland, which is 100 kilometers away. So you take out all your wealth and then you start moving from this place. Okay. So you keep it in all the SUVs, and then all the SUVs are on the way to this farmland. You left your home. Okay. You're almost crossed 50 kilometers from your home. Okay. On those rural road, when you are traveling, suddenly black color Scorpio cars will come and join your way. You see it in South Indian movies, right? Mostly in the Telugu movies. From all the direction, all tinted glass, black color Scorpios will come and join your way. And your vehicles are moving here. Your vehicles are moving here. They stop you and then they show AK-47. And they ask, you want your life or your wealth? What you choose? You obviously choose your life, right? So you end up giving all your wealth to those who came in a black color Scorpios. Isn't your security guard protecting you? Your security guard is a poor guy who is still sitting in front of this empty home and then protecting, right? Isn't it? He's still sitting in those in front of those gates, and he's still protecting the empty home. Correct? So your security guard is nothing but your firewall. Firewall sits at the entry and exit point of your network, and it inspects any packet which is coming in or any packet which is going out. Okay, to make sure all authorized access is happening, no unauthorized access is happening. So your security guard is nothing but your firewall. But in this case, your security guard will not help because you're 50 kilometers away from your home. You're on a public road. So you're on a public network, which is internet. So when your packets are moving in an internet, which is a public network, your security guard, which is a firewall, it's of no use. Whom do you need here? So in this kind of situation, you need a bodyguard. Correct. Bodyguard, not Salman Khan. All right. So your bodyguard is nothing but your VPN. So VPN is a concept which protects your packet when they are traveling on a public network, on an internet. Okay. So what they do is they give some special protection to these packets. So if somebody trying to steal or manipulate with these packets, VPN make sure it does not happen. A simple generic example to differentiate between what is a firewall and then what is a VPN. Okay. Any questions?
One question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Normally, whenever we access something outside the network, we are also these packets are already encrypted as well as hashing is also done. In,
Done by whom?
if we don't use VPN, still these packets have encryption and the hashing part.
May
Is it
not
not?
be. May not be. See, most of the websites nowadays, whenever you try to browse, you see HTTPS, correct?
Yes, they are all HTTPS.
If it is HTTPS, then only it is encrypted. If it is not,
But sir,
yes, it is
mostly
not
websites
encrypted.
in today's scenario, mostly websites are HTTPS.
Yeah,
Very rare,
because
very
it was
rare
not
websites.
compulsory a few years ago. Okay. But whatever HTTPS encryption is happening, that is not very secure. It can be easily broken. Only encryption will not protect you. Only encryption will not protect you. There
You
are
mean to say
many
that?
other layers needs to be added. That's what I'm going to discuss now.
No, no, sir. My question is that we are using. Suppose we have AES is used or RSA is used. RSA
Mhm.
algorithm is used in case of HTTPS over the websites mostly.
Mhm.
They are also using a 512 bits or 256 bits encryption, and we have
Mhm.
hashing also. Is it not
Mhm.
sufficient for a normal data to flow over the public network?
See, it's a hypothetical question. It may be sufficient or it may not be sufficient. It all depends upon in which kind of environment you are accessing your network, okay, and how knowledgeable the hacker is, and what kind of a tools that he is using. It's a hypothetical question. Okay, it may be sufficient or it may not be sufficient. Not all the websites are using HTTPS. Yes, I agree that today most of the websites use it, but not all of them.
Okay, thank you.
Right? So let us understand when we enable VPN for a remote access, what happens in a backend. Okay. So to make sure that all our data traffic is safe, we need to achieve following things. First thing is confidentiality. Okay. What do you mean by confidential? Confidentiality. What is private and confidential? You wanted to maintain some secret. Correct. That's what you call it as a confidential. So next thing that you should achieve is data or a message integrity. Data or a message integrity. Accountability and then authentication. Accountability or authentication. There is a last thing which probably you can call it as anti-reply. So you need to achieve these things to call it as you are having a VPN. Okay. So what is confidentiality? As I've already mentioned, maintaining a secret. How do you maintain a secret? By encrypting the content. Okay, whatever data that you're sending, you want it to encrypt. Now the question comes is, how do I encrypt? How do I encrypt? So there are a lot of encryption algorithms available, right? So what are these encryption algorithms? They are basically some mathematical formula which will convert your plain text into ciphertext. Ciphertext is something which is like non-readable, isn't it? Okay, I'll take a very simple example. Okay, let us say I have a message, hello. I have a message, hello, and I want to encrypt it. I don't want to take any complex algorithms. Okay, I have my own algorithm, very simple one, and then using which I want to encrypt it. Okay, my algorithm says that every character goes one step forward. That means if I have A, write it as B. If I have a B, I write it as a C. If I have a C, I write it as E. One step forward. So H will become I. E will become, what's the next character for E? F. Correct? L will become M. Another L will become M. O will become P. IFMMP. IFMMP. See, I send a message on a WhatsApp. IFMMP. Someone else takes your mobile phone and then reads my message. What is this guy sent? IFMMP. Maybe some kids have scribbled something. But you know the decryption algorithm. Okay, so every character needs to go one step backward. So when you go one step backward, you actually get your original text, isn't it? Plain text, ciphertext. Okay, so as a human being, if you sit and then think a logic, probably in about few hours, you will be able to break this algorithm. For every character, probably it is going one step backward. If I come one step or one step forward, if I come one step backward, I'll get my message. For a computers, it doesn't take even a millisecond to break this kind of a code. Okay, let me make my algorithm a little bit complex. All the odd number of characters, goes one step forward. Even number of character comes one step backward. So this is first character, second, third, fourth, and then fifth. Odd number of characters goes forward. So H will become next character, I. E comes backward, okay? It will become D. L goes forward, it will become M. L, it comes backward, okay? K, isn't it? O will become P. Last time I sent a message IFMMP, but this time I am sending a message IDMKP. It's also a very simple one, but look at this. You have a same letter L. Once it is becoming M, next time it is becoming K. So for a human being, if you think, it will be very difficult, okay, to trace this and then break this code. Computers might do it in fraction of seconds. Yes, I agree that. But as a human being, aren't you feeling it is difficult to break this if you don't know how to break it? If you just don't know, somebody sends IDMKP to your mobile phone and you want to understand what it is. Isn't it? A minor modification to my existing algorithm gave a result which is much more complex to break. See, like this, your encryption algorithms from day one, they're becoming more and more complex. So initially they were very simple, slowly and gradually they become complex. Initially we had like 64-bit algorithms, then it became 128-bit, 256-bit, 512-bit. We are talking about 4096 bits now. Okay, much more complex algorithms. These algorithms are nothing but a mathematical formulas, that's it. Okay, so with this kind of a encryption, you achieve confidentiality. What about a data or a message integrity? What is the English meaning of data integrity or a message integrity? What is sent, the same thing should be delivered, right? If somebody tries to manipulate your message on the way, it should not happen. Okay. So let us say you are transferring 10,000 rupees to your friend's account, the bank account. Okay. From your mobile phone, you send an instruction, transfer 10,000. What if a hacker captures that packet and adds one more zero? It will become 1 lakh. Correct. So when that packet reaches a bank's server should be able to identify it is not the same message coming from the sender. On the way, somebody captured a packet and manipulated my packet. So data integrity is lost. A message integrity is lost. Okay. So at the destination side, devices should be capable of understanding if data integrity is lost. If somebody has tried tampering with the packet. Okay, that is your data or a message integrity. What do you mean by accountability or authentication? Accountability and then authentication is you wanted to make sure the message is coming from a right person. Message is coming from a right person. Okay, it is not spoofed one. What do you mean by spoofed one? You receive a phone call from your friend. You see the name on your mobile. It is same. Okay, number is also same, but they scold you. What is this? This guy, my friend never scolded me, and then now today is scolding. At least you can understand with the voice, right? What if it is some text message or something, and then they send some abusive messages? Okay, so you need to understand, yes, the message is coming from some spoofed device, which is making me feel like my friend is doing it. You need to understand whether the message is coming from a right person or not. What if hacker sends an instruction to bank on behalf of you that transfer so and so amount to so and so account? So bank server need to understand whether it is you who is doing the transaction or it is hacker pretending like you doing the transaction. Accountability. Okay, there needs to be a proper authentication. We'll understand about anti-replay also. Okay, now first let us understand how do we achieve these things. How do we achieve these things? Let us say I have a person called as A want to send some message to B. Okay, with VPN. Nowadays, what happens? Modern day softwares, you have like VPN client softwares, you enable it and then it starts working. But you need to understand what is happening in the back end. In encryption algorithms, we have two types, right? Private key and then public key. Symmetric key algorithms and then asymmetric key algorithms. The symmetric key algorithms is you use the same key to either encrypt or decrypt. It's like whatever key that you use to lock your home, whatever key that you use to turn on your bike or a car. It's the same key. You turn it in one direction, you're actually locking. You turn it in other direction, you end up unlocking. That's a symmetric key. From ages, we had this problem. So whatever example that I gave, IFMMP or IDMKP, if I want to send a message, and you need to understand how to decrypt it. So I'll have to tell you how to decrypt it. Okay, first message, you go one step backward. Second message, odd number of characters forward, even number of characters backward. So I am also giving you decryption algorithm along with the encrypted message. What if hacker captures both? Then he will be able to unlock your message and then read it. To overcome this, okay, some scientists came up with a solution called as asymmetric key encryption. Asymmetric key means you lock with one key and you cannot use the same key to unlock. You need to use another key to unlock. Okay. So you lock with the second key, you need a first key to unlock. In simple terms, private key and then public key, they call it as. So if you encrypt using a private key, you need a public key to unlock. You encrypt using a public key, you need private key to unlock. So with any key you can encrypt, but you need opposite key to decrypt. Okay. Private key, name itself says private, I'll keep it to myself, I'll not give it to anyone. Public key, I'll give it to everyone, including hacker. Let the hacker also take my public key. Okay, I'm not worried. You know why? Because you need a private key to decrypt a message. So what person A does is having a message, hello. and B has given him public key of a B. Okay, so he will run public key of B, public key of B. Okay, on this plain text, he will end up getting encrypted message. Let us call it as encrypted message 1, EM1. Okay. Now, as a second step, what this A does, it takes the same plain text HELLO, hello, okay. On top of it, on top of it, he runs, okay, an hashing algorithm called as message digest. Message digest is a hashing algorithm, right? Okay, let us say he's using MD5. So what he will get? Digested message. Message digest. It's a hashing, it is not encryption. There is no opposite process to it. There is no opposite process to it. So on a plain text, he converted it to hashed format, MD. Hashed format, MD. Okay. The third step, what he does is he takes this digested message MD. On top of it, he will run his own private key of himself, private key of A. Again, he will get another encrypted message. Let us call it as EM2. So EM1 and then EM2, encrypted message 1 and then encrypted message 2, both of them will be sent to B. When B, the receiver, okay, he receives this message, he takes this encrypted message 1, okay. What was used to encrypt? Public key of B was used to encrypt, right? So he will run private key of B. Private key of B is with him only. Okay. What will he get? He should get a plain text message. Hello. If we can successfully do this, okay, that means message was encrypted when it was traveling on a public network. That means we achieved first point. We achieved point number 1, which is confidentiality. And I want to make sure that nobody has tampered with this message. What if A is sent hi and somebody is changed it to hello? Correct. I don't want that to happen. What is sent, the same thing should be delivered to the destination. Okay. To make sure that integrity is not broken, what receiver will do is he will take encrypted message 2. What was used to encrypt? Private key of A was used to encrypt this, right? So if B thinks that it is coming from person called as A, let me run public key of A. If a public key of A is run, what will you get? Message digest, right? It was actually originally message digest, digested message. Okay. So if you're able to unlock this encrypted message 2, you should end up getting message digest, which is non-readable format. In fact. Okay. If we can accomplish this second step, that means message is coming from a right person A, because I used public key of A to decrypt it. Obviously, private key of A was used to encrypt. So message is coming from a right person. Accountability. I achieved this. Okay. So what will I do with this MD? I still don't understand whether hi was sent or hello was sent. I need to understand the message digest. Okay. I need to understand the data integrity. So B will take this whatever he could get from step number 1, hello. On top of it, he will run MD5. Whatever was done here on second step here. Okay. If MD5 was run, we will end up getting another MD here. Now, this person will compare first message digest and this message digest, which is actually non-readable format. If they both look alike, if they both look same, that means what was sent, the same thing was delivered. What was sent? the same thing was delivered. Nobody tried tampering with the message on the way. Same thing was delivered. Now let us understand, in case if hacker tried to tamper this message, what will happen? In case hacker tried tampering with the message, what will happen? What he will do, he will take encrypted message 1. He will take encrypted message 1. Okay. So what was used to lock this? Public key of a B is used to lock it. Does a hacker have a private key of a B? In case if B has lost a key, then it is there, or otherwise it will not be there. So he cannot unlock this message. He cannot simply unlock this first message unless he is having an access to private key of a B. Now, what if he takes a message number 2, encrypted message number 2? What was used to lock it? Private key of A, right? Hacker may have a public key of A. Public key can be with anyone. When I distribute a public key, I don't mind even if a hacker gets it. Okay, so you take encrypted message 2 and he runs public key of A. What will he get? Message digest. Hacker does not understand what it is because it's in digested form. It is non-readable format. Okay, what he does again, he locks it. Locks it with what? Public key of A. Okay, so he unlocked with the public key of A. He does not understand what it is. He locked with the public key. This time it is public key. Now, as a second step here, encrypted message 2, if a B tries to unlock it with the public key, it cannot happen because it was locked with the public key of A by hacker. So that means hacker tried capturing the packet on the way and then he tried tampering with the packet. So second step cannot be performed by B. So B will understand data or message integrity is lost. Somebody tampered it. Okay, that's when this recipient side will end up rejecting these packets. Whatever packets which have lost the integrity, they will be discarded. Okay, so hacker, even if he captures certain things, he will be able to unlock, but few things he will not be able to unlock. So even if he is able to unlock, that is non-readable text that he will end up reading. Okay, and at the destination, we will even come to know if somebody tampered or not. Okay, so all these things, we don't do it manually. Your VPN softwares does it. We have a different types of a VPN softwares, right? Site-to-site VPN, client-to-site VPN, or a remote access VPN. So between your head office and then your branch office, they are fixed sites. Okay, you end up creating a virtual tunnel between them and you end up calling it as site-to-site VPN. The source is fixed, the destination is fixed, and then there is a virtual tunnel built between them. Client-to-site VPN. So whatever we use it as a end host, okay, that is a client-to-site VPN. Company has given you a laptop and then they have told you work from home, but they don't make it compulsory that you work from your home. You may go to your relative's home and then start working from there, or you may go to your friend's home and start working from there, or you want to enjoy some year-end holidays and then you are in Goa and then you are sitting in a nice restaurant and then you want to access your office resources. Remote access, client-to-site VPN. So your location is not fixed, but your office location is fixed. So whenever you turn on your laptop, there will be a VPN tunnel created between your laptop, whatever internet connection that you might be using, okay, from there to your office, client-to-site VPN. So this VPN, okay, will make sure these client-to-site VPN or a site-to-site VPN, whatever VPN softwares that you're using, they make sure this thing is happening in a backend. This thing is happening in a backend. Different VPNs might be using a different types of encryptions, okay, or different types of hashing algorithms, or different techniques, but they all end up making sure that confidentiality, data or a message integrity, and then accountability is taken care. All right. So some VPNs will also take care of your anti-replay. What is an anti-replay? Anti-replay means your device or the things you should be able to identify if it's a duplicate packets that you're receiving. There is something called as a replay attack. Okay. Replay attack is hacker will not try tampering with your packets. He will just make a copy of the same packets and then he sends again and again. Okay. You send an instruction to your bank, transfer 10,000 rupees. Instead of he capturing that packet and adding one more zero to it to make it as a 1 lakh rupees, what he does, he make a copy of a packet and then he creates some delay. So first packet is delivered, your bank transfer 10,000 to your friend's account. After 5 minutes, replica of a same packet or a copy of a same packet is delivered to the bank. The bank checks packet is not tampered, in fact. Packet is coming from your to bank server. Okay. Again says transfer 10,000 rupees. So your bank should not end up transferring another 10,000 rupees second time. What if your hacker can make a 10 copies of it and then create some delay and sends the same packet 10 times? In this case also he achieves the same his goal, right? Instead of 10,000 ending up transferring 1 lakh rupees, isn't it? So bank should be able to identify it's a duplicate packet which arrived late. Okay, and bank should be able to discard that packet. So replay attack, any replay attack should be discarded. So that can be done with a very simple technique by reading the sequence numbers. So in your packets, you will have some sequence numbers, right? So those sequence number will also be duplicated again. Okay. If hacker tries to change the sequence number, that means message integrity is lost. So hacker cannot do that. Understanding? Okay. Now, different products may have a different vulnerabilities. For example, if I take an example of a Cisco, okay, so there is a portal where all the security advisories are listed. This is publicly accessible. Okay, tools.cisco.com/securities/center/publication listing.x. You can visit this website, okay, wherein you can see all the advisories given by Cisco. And there are, they in fact release these things every week. They call them as a PSIRTs, PSIRTS, Product Security Incident Response Team. Okay. So you can see here, so Cisco WebEx meetings and Cisco WebEx meeting server, Ghost join vulnerability. There are so many of them. Okay, severity, impact, medium, okay, critical. You will end up seeing high. Okay, every vulnerability is uniquely identified with something called a CVE number. CVE number. Okay, so these things were released on November 23, November 20. Okay, November 18th. All right, you can see some of them like version 1. You can see here first published on a November 16th. Some updations were added on a November 20th. Okay, you can just simply search telnet. How many telnet vulnerabilities are there? You will see a lot of them. You can see here in a September 24th or July 15th, there were some vulnerabilities released by Cisco. February 26th, you can read these dates. Okay, they're all like remote access vulnerabilities. I'll just open one of them. Okay, Cisco iOS XE software consent token bypass vulnerability. Okay, so Cisco explains. So this is the bug ID that they have assigned. Okay, this particular bug, CSC VQ91055. This is the bug ID. A vulnerability in the persistent telnet and secure shell CLI of a Cisco iOS XE software could allow an authenticated local attacker to gain shell access on an affected device and execute commands on underlying operating system with root privileges. This is like an insider attack. Here, attack is not coming from outside. It says an authenticated local attacker. That means an employee of your company who does not have some privileged access. Okay, he's just 6 months old in your company and then you have not given him all the access. There are some restrictions, but he can gain a shell access on an affected device and execute certain commands. He is not supposed to do that. Okay, he get root privileges. And all the details are given. The vulnerability is due to insufficient enforcement of a consent token authorization shell access. Okay, you can read all this and what products are vulnerable, affected products. Okay, and how do you determine if your device is having such configuration? Probably you're vulnerable. So products confirmed not vulnerable. So whatever products running iOS software, iOS XR and then NextOS, different operating systems by Cisco, in fact. Okay, and what is the fixed software, fixed version of a software? Okay, you can read all that information here. It's publicly available. You can access this. You can access and then you will come to know. You can see this Cisco Small Business RV110W wireless VPN firewall static default credential vulnerability. Okay, it was released on July 15th. July 15th, and it is critical, Cisco says. Okay. A vulnerability in a telnet service of a Cisco Small Business RV wireless VPN firewall router could allow unauthenticated remote attacker to take full control of a device with high privileged account. So in this case, it's a remote attacker. He's not a local attacker. Okay. And vulnerability exists because system account has a default and static passwords. An attacker could exploit this vulnerability by using a default account to connect to affected system and successfully exploit would allow attacker to gain full control of affected device. And they have assigned some different bug ID here for this. So software development team will be working on these bug IDs and then they will be keep fixing them. And whenever they fix them and then they release fixed software, whatever is the next version. So whenever they release these kind of a PSETs, they'll also inform all their clients that so we have found such vulnerability in our product of this version. In case if you have such product in your network environment running so and so software, you better upgrade to so and so software, so that you're safe. Okay, many financial service companies immediately do it. So I work for a client, Wells Fargo. Okay, so Wells Fargo is a financial service company. I in fact earlier I used to work for Morgan Stanley from Cisco. That's a client that I handle. Okay, so these companies, whenever these PSETs gets released, they immediately take an action. Within few days, they upgrade all those softwares. Okay, so financial service companies, they don't take risk. Okay, they don't want to lose anything. So every Wednesday night 10:30 p.m. India time. Okay, that means today night 10:30 p.m. Okay, you will see a new PSETs getting released. That means we normally Thursday morning we analyze them, and in case if our customer is vulnerable, we announce them immediately. We announce and then we give the solution. Okay. So this is how you can identify if there are any vulnerabilities in the Cisco devices. Most of the competitor products like a Juniper or any other company are also doing it. Any questions? I think I've already taken too much of time. There's only 2 minutes left for today's Q&A session. Any questions? You can probably make a note of this link and then you can check it later. tools.cisco.com/security/center/publication listing. Yes. Okay. So this much of URL is sufficient. You have thousands of advisories like this, security advisories by Cisco. Okay, and whatever content of, see, we were concentrating on remote access, right? So I simply typed telnet here in a quick search and it gave me. So in case if you want to check something else, let us say some routing protocol like OSPF or a BGP or MPLS related, so you just type it there. So it will show some vulnerabilities based on those things. Any questions?
Any questions from the audience?
Did anyone type any questions in the chat window? I didn't check the chat window. Do we have any questions in the chat window?
Questions there? No, no questions, sir.
Yeah, I see some messages, but I don't see any questions here.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep. for a wonderful session with practical, hands-on session.
Thank you,
What
ma'am.
is more secure? What is more secure means VPN or cryptography? Which one is more secured? VPN or cryptography?
Cryptography is a part of your VPN. So VPN is a concept, okay, which includes your cryptography, that is your encryption techniques, okay, your hashing techniques, okay. So it makes sure that everything is achieved like confidentiality, message integrity, okay, and your accountability and authentication. So combination of everything is VPN. So cryptography is a part of it. They're not separate.
Yeah, it's a very interesting session and good examples shared. Yes, sir. No questions other than this. Okay, let us wind up the session. Once again, I thank Mr. Pradeep for given consent and shared his knowledge in this platform. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, all participants. It was a nice session. Thank you.
Um,
Right.
it's
Somebody is asking for my email ID.
is VPN makes a public network into private network.
Okay. So VPN makes a public network into private network. It will create a feel that you are using a private network. It will not make public network as a private network. Just take a simple another generic example. See, we general population when we travel on a road, we simply everyone will end up traveling. But when a VVIP comes, what happens? Let us say tomorrow, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is visiting your town. Okay, whenever his vehicles are traveling, are you allowed to travel? No, right? All the public vehicles will be pulled aside and only his vehicles will be permitted, VVIP. Okay, as long as his vehicles are traveling, first couple of police jeeps will go, and after that, one ambulance will go, one fire engine, then couple of police vehicles again, then another car where our prime minister is traveling. Behind that, there are another few police vehicles are traveling, a police bus, isn't it? You're not allowed to travel that time. So as long as his vehicles are going, that's a private road to him. Once his vehicles are passed, it's a public road. Similarly, when we do the VPN, you're still using an internet, which is a public network. But when your packets are traveling, you get a feel like you're traveling in a private road or a private cable. Understanding? So VPN will create a virtual tunnel. So we don't call it as a physical tunnel, right? It's a virtual tunnel. So inside that virtual tunnel, you're sending all the packets. Will it not lead to congestion? Yes. See, congestion control is another concept which is a part of something called as a QoS, quality of service. Okay. Again, if you have a sufficient bandwidth, there won't be any congestion. If there is a bandwidth is a constraint, yes, it will create a congestion because most of the communications will use the TCP. Okay. So when you use TCP, what happens? There will be like reverse traffic of acknowledgements. So for everything which is getting delivered, you get a acknowledgements. So it will end up creating congestion. So congestion should not be a problem, but security is more concerned. So we're not worried about congestion. We're worried about security.
Okay. More questions. Sunil Kumar.
Good morning, sir. Myself Sunil Kumar from Nilet, Jammu. I have one.
Okay.
What is the difference between VPN and MPLS, sir?
MPLS is a different concept. See, MPLS was basically designed for a faster communication. It is not for safer communication. Okay. I was showing you the packet, right? So it had multiple layers, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer. We had multiple layers, isn't it? Okay. I normally give this example. Those who have attended my session, you know it. How does a packet look like? Can anyone explain? Can you visualize when I say a packet? Can you visualize it in front of you? See, if I say car, you can visualize a car in front of you, right? When I say aeroplane, you can visualize it. But when I say packet, how do you visualize it?
Not possible.
Not possible, right? So you end up visualizing some envelope kind of a thing normally. So what I explain is your packet looks like an onion. Your packet looks like an onion. Your innermost core is your actual data. On top of that, a seventh layer is built, which is an application layer. It has its own information. On top of that, it has presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, then comes a network layer, then comes a data link layer. The outermost layer is a physical layer. Whenever any device receives a packet, it has to open outermost layer, which is a physical layer. When it opens the outermost layer in a data link layer, it's a layer 2. What will it find? It will find source MAC address and destination MAC address. Correct. So whenever we do switching, whenever we use a switching or a communication within a LAN, we transfer all the data traffic using a MAC address. So switch receives a packet, it opens a one layer, physical layer, okay? In a data link layer, it finds a destination MAC address and it transfers the packet. If it's a router, you know what it does? It opens physical layer, checks for a MAC address, okay? It opens data link layer also, it checks for a network address, that is IP address. Okay, so once it finds the IP address, then it will again have to close data link layer, close the physical layer, and then transfer the packet. So switching is faster than routing, because in router you have to peel open two layers. In switch, you have to peel open only one layer. Okay, so you include security on top of it. When you include security on top of it, let us say you want to make sure that it has to be TCP communication, then you have to open that network layer also, check the transport layer. And you want to make sure the data is encrypted. Encryption happens in presentation layer. So you have to open all the layers up to presentation layer to check whether it's encrypted or not. So there is an additional delay created because every packet you are inspecting, deep inspection you are doing. Correct. Okay.
Correct.
So MPLS is a layer 2.5 protocol. It works based on a concept, something called as a CEF, Cisco Express Forwarding. So it creates labels. Okay, there is a table. So whenever any packet comes, it does not check a MAC address. It does not check an IP address. So there is something called as a label using which it switches the packet to multi-protocol label switching, MPLS. That was actually designed and developed for a faster communication on a WAN networks, a wide area network. It is not for security purpose.
Okay.
Okay, somebody was asking for my email ID. I'm just typing it in a chat and then I'm sending it. That's my personal email ID. Okay, you can get in touch with me on that email ID.
Thank you, sir.
So any other questions?
Nice session it was.
Sunil Kumar is asking.
I said it was a wonderful session, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Sunil. Thanks for your feedback.
Okay.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you all. Thanks for your time. It was a nice session indeed.
Thank you. It is wonderful session. Okay, the next session will start at 12 o'clock. The link will be sent